Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel, Rusty's Mustang Garage. This is going to be part 4B of the jig build for my Classic Mustang. Building the jig because I have to replace a lot of the under sheet metal pieces like the floor pans, the frame rails. So I want to keep the car together as I'm cutting it apart. So, welcome to December. It's been about 6 to 8 weeks since I completed the build. Time being what it is, it was kind of busy this fall, so I didn't get a chance to edit all this out, but now I am finally getting part 4B out. If you watched the last couple of seconds on the first video, you saw that I was starting to cut out all the cross members of the jig. It turned out the jig had a bit of a bend in it. It curved a little bit to the driver's side, and that wasn't going to work out for me, so I had to cut all the cross members out. Luckily, they were just tacked in at that point. Otherwise, it would have been much harder. So we're going to cut into a time lapse now of rebuilding the jig squarely, and let's take it from there. So here I am cutting out the last two cross members, and now I'm starting to align the two main rails, making sure that they are parallel and square to each other and all that. Just using the tram gauge, trying to make sure everything is where it's supposed to be. I'm using some of those cross members just to temporarily clamp the two main rails together, just so they don't move as I'm checking everything. Now I'm starting to weld in the temporary diagonal bracing. Just checking the passenger side rail just to make sure there are no bends in it. Just welding in some more temporary diagonal bracing just to keep everything straight. And now I'm tacking in the front cross member of the jig. As you can see from the time lapse, I'm adding some diagonal bracing on the ends, hoping to help resist some twisting and flexing when it's all assembled. I will be taking out the temporary diagonal bracing because I'm going to need that room for all the brackets and to work on the car. So I'm hoping that the diagonal bracing on the ends will be enough. So here I am welding in solid the front cross member and the two permanent diagonal braces. Now let's flip the jig over so we can do the welds on the underside. Alright, everything worked out okay with that, but I really probably wouldn't recommend doing that by yourself again. It probably weighs about 300 pounds at this point, so having that floating around in the air is a bit sketchy. No real damage happened to the car. A little scratch on the fender, but the fender needs to be worked anyway. cleaning up the braces for the legs. There's 8 legs, 3 braces on each leg. That's 24 pieces. Starting to weld the legs and the braces on. I've lined up the legs so that they're in line with the cross member. That way I get some side-to-side bracing. I think that's it. Alright, I think that's going to do it for Saturday. Feeling pretty confident I'll get this done by Monday afternoon. Today I got all the legs welded on. 2/3 of the bottom half of the jig have been painted with the primer. And although tomorrow's forecast is not looking as good, some intermittent rain showers, so I got everything covered up for now. We'll see what it brings, but even if tomorrow's a washout, I think by Monday afternoon I'll be able to get this on the ground and on its wheels. Alright, Sunday afternoon, sometime around 12:30, 1 o'clock or so. Rain is scheduled probably within the next hour or so. Nothing heavy, some sprinkles, but I really want to finish up getting these last couple joints welded up and hopefully maybe a coat of primer on before the rain comes and I can cover it. Just cleaning the rails up with a little wax and grease remover before priming. And now to spray on a little rusty metal primer. We're going to try to roll this over again a little less sketchy. Let's see what happens. Alright, that was a lot better than the first time. Still something I'd recommend to 2 people. It'll just be a lot easier. Alright, now I just gotta lift it back up and put it on the sawhorse. And just like that, we're back down on the sawhorse. Now just to prime the top rails and whatever else I missed, and the priming will be done. It's just a primer, so if there's some runs in it, I'm not too worried about it. And this is really just the body jig. You know, it doesn't need to be beautiful, it just needs not to rust. Alright, I'm pretty much done for now. I just need to let this dry so I can then mark off where I want to put the mounting plates for the casters. Weld those in and then get ready for black paint tomorrow. Well, it looks like I just made it. As you can see, I've covered it up. It's starting to rain. The primer dried enough so that it was dry to the touch. Not fully dry, but you know, you could touch it and not leave prints. And like I said, it's just a primer coat. If it gets a little smudged, that's gonna be fine. Tomorrow's gonna be a much better day, partly sunny. We'll be painting it black. And at that point, this thing will be done. Well, for now at least. So, until tomorrow. All right, it's Monday morning. Weather is going to be good for the rest of the day. If not, maybe a little windy, but I should be okay with that. All that's left to do is weld on the mounting plates for the casters and to paint it. But first I have to flip it. It'll be one of 2 flips left that I have to do. It's not as difficult as it looks. So let's get busy. Alright, now I'm starting to weld on the caster mounting plates for the wheels. Once all the caster mounting plates are welded on, it's time to start the final painting. Once I've painted all that I can from the bottom, it's time to flip it over and finish up the top side. Alright, so the build is mostly complete at this point, I would say. I have the first two connection points attached to the jig. They're squared up, ready to go. This first piece back here will bolt into or pin into the front mount for the rear leaf spring. It's a pretty important point. And this really is just a horizontal brace, or sorry, vertical brace. The frame rail extensions will sit on top of this. There's nothing to keep it sliding from side to side at this point. They're just going to sit on top of this. Starting from the front, this brace will become the attachment point for the front of the frame rail. Next is these two middle braces. They're a little longer, a little wider. They will attach to the bottom of the pinch weld of the rockers and hold the car in place there. And this one in the back here will tie into the rear mounting point for the leaf spring. The four that are just in primer, I really haven't settled on how I'm doing the attachments yet, so they're just going to stay in primer until the attachments are welded on. And at that point, I'll paint them. Alright, so that's going to do it for this video. If you'd like to be seeing, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell to be notified when more videos come out. If you want to hit the thumbs up or the thumbs down, that'd be great too. It'll really help out. I have one more video coming out on the jig build, and that's going to be how I built these attachment pieces. That should be coming out shortly as well. And until then, we'll see you in the next video.